Well, thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Making Sense, where we talk about our finances, our financial institutions, the current trends, and also what's on the horizon. We're joined today by Justin Will from Forest Area Federal Credit Union and Robert Tidwell, who's the Director of Information Technology at the Credit Union. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. Today, we are talking about generative AI in banking. So before we get into this, because we all probably know a little bit about AI, maybe some of what we know is accurate. Maybe some of it's just feelings. Let's start off before we get into this topic about the role of AI in our financial institutions. Robert, Justin, can you explain to all of us so that we have a good foundation of what generative AI is?
Yeah, absolutely. So generative AI is probably the type of AI that you have heard of and seen the most commonly out there.
Okay.
When you hear of things like ChatGPT and these text generators and image generators that people have been using, that is a form of generative AI. It is essentially a AI model that is trained on existing content that is out there on the internet, whether it's websites and forums and speeches and music, pictures, everything that is out there online. These AI models have taken that data, trained themselves on it, and are generating content for you, whether it's pictures or music or videos or text. That is essentially the most common form in the most basic sense of what generative AI is.
And before we get into this can be used for good and bad.
Absolutely.
I see Robert shaking his head there.
Unfortunately, it can. There's definitely ways that threat actors can use it for their benefit in a bad way, and we can also use it to protect ourselves against them as well as benefit our members at the same time.
Okay, so if somebody's coming with preconceived notions that it's all evil, listen, we're all gonna learn something in the next little bit here. All right, so how is this AI being used in our banks and credit unions?
So it's really interesting. It's being used in a lot of different ways.
Okay.
And in fact, many of us have been party to on the receiving end of its usage and maybe not even knowing it. And then there's usage cases where you do know it. Something that most of our viewers can probably relate to are the concept of chat bots and virtual assistants.
Mm-hmm.
They're being used in financial institutions. I know another place that I see them commonly are on dealership websites. If you're looking for a newer used automobile, newer used snowmobile, recreational vehicle, if you're browsing their site, the chat bot or virtual assistant pops up, even might have a face or a likeness there. And it's, how can I help you today? And you could be browsing after midnight and they want to help you, right? Those are examples of artificial intelligence that they're there to prompt you with a question, receive your questions, and provide answers to questions that the machine has availability to access. If you're using a financial institution's website, a chatbot comes up, you can ask things like, what are your hours of operation? What is the routing number for my bank or my credit union? What is your fee? Is there a fee for this or that? And the chatbot, through artificial intelligence, can answer that question for you without actually interacting with another human being. So those are some of the most common things we're seeing right now. And this can be done through online platforms on a website or mobile app. It can also be done on a telephone line, right? It's really just a major enhancement to the old phone tree model where you call in and press 1 to hear our hours. Well, now the phone says, if you'd like to hear our hours, say hours. And you say the word hours and it talks to you and tells you what the hours of the institution is, right? So in the starting and most very basic form, that's many ways that it's being used. It's just using smart technology to answer simple and basic questions. And the beauty of it is that it can be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to get your questions answered when you have them versus needing to wait until somebody's available. And likewise, if an institution is experiencing high call volume, sometimes simple questions can be answered more quickly through the generative AI, through the smart machine, and give the people the quick, easy information they're asking for. And then it can go a lot deeper, right? Many organizations are using this type of technology to dive deeper into their data, to learn more about their customers, to predict what somebody's needs might be, and then provide them with recommendations, either recommendations for future services and how they deliver those recommendations. Maybe it's a human being actually reaching out, or maybe it is a generated form of communication that comes out. That's up to each individual business, how they're doing business, how they want to tackle that, and what kind of experience they want to give people. But now just think about for a moment, if you're in a department store and you're offered the department store credit card and you give them very little basic information and you have an answer, approved, declined, and how much you're approved for, usually in a very quick turnaround while you're standing at the register and there's people behind you in line, and it's really not adding that much time. I mean, we're talking 60-second turnaround on decisions. Many of those types of transactions are happening utilizing artificial intelligence, machine learning, because the machine can take that data, process it very quickly, and return a result and an answer based on risk models that businesses create. And so we're seeing more and more of that being introduced into the financial institution sector because it provides efficiency and it provides an opportunity to deliver answers to the people that want them faster than the old longhand way of filling out a paper application, so on and so forth. So there's some really cool things happening with it as long as it's being used appropriately and for good purposes.
I recently had to get an insurance policy for a car. Mm-hmm. And it was like after hours on like a Saturday. I was like, I'm gonna have to wait a long time to talk to a person. And you get that prompt of, would you like to talk to, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah. So, and I went through this entire policy or this process of getting this new policy. And I'm still not exactly sure if I was talking to a bot. It was that good. Yeah. Like these have really changed a lot. And I assume, are they continuing to evolve and change? They're good. It's not like the phone tree where it's like push 1 for the hours. It's almost like, do you want to know what our hours are? And then they tell like it's that they're really changing quickly.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head when you said you weren't sure if you were talking to an actual person or AI. That's how they've gotten. It's gotten to the point now where they are so good. Even some of the more trained professionals have to do a double take to really pick out the tells to find out, maybe that's not real. There's a lot of newer AI models and tools that have come out even as recently as this year or the last couple of years that I have seen pictures and videos from that I could not tell the difference of it being generated by AI and it being real. Granted, there are some tells that usually you can train people on to look at, but especially an untrained individual, someone that may not be expecting it, if they are getting a phone call even, and it's AI voicing something on the other end of it, they're very susceptible to not knowing that, especially if they're not aware of it and going into it. And it's a very scary thing to think about, especially some of the victims that they're preying on, whether it be the elderly or the ones that may not be up to speed in terms of what's out there on the new front for all of the AI tools and tactics.
But for me, that one experience, I would have waited a lot longer to talk to a person. And even though I'm one of those, I'd rather talk to a person kind of people, I was like, wow, that was slick. And I ended up in the same spot I would have had I waited on hold or not, or waited till Monday to call. It's really impressive. All right. So other than perhaps like that speed element where I can always get an answer, what other benefits can credit union members get from AI?
Well, similar to what Justin was talking about, because AI is trained on all of the data that it has access to, we're able to get very personalized results from it. So especially the communities that we are serving, we are able to personalize our marketing efforts or create these campaigns that really drive down into what our members want and what they need, because the AI, it knows that. It is trained on the data that, whether or not everyone is aware of what data of theirs may be out there, the AI was trained on it in some manner. So it helps us in terms of our marketing efforts to deliver services and products to those that may not even know that they need it, but because of the algorithm and the trends that all the data goes into, we're able to find it out and to bring it to those members. And being a smaller organization, we are able to use AI to help with our team members with the workload that they have. So we can take a much smaller team, give them tools that may be powered by AI, and create results that would have traditionally taken a much larger team many more hours to actually output. So some of the tools that we're getting from it are very simple things, but we're able to benefit the members tenfold, whether it's marketing efforts or new products and services that we're able to create net new based on a need that we learned of from the AI data that we were getting. Or it may just be as simple as they walk into a branch of ours and they're able to have a better and faster interaction because of the training and some of the tools that we were able to get by leveraging AI.
Oh, it makes perfect. Save the people interactions for what needs to be a person interaction. That totally makes sense. All right, so that's some of the benefits. Are there challenges from banks and credit unions' perspective when it comes to AI?
I will jump in and say, yeah, there's definitely challenges. The first thing that a financial institution needs to take into consideration is, how do you harness the concept of the technology and the power of it, but maintain the integrity and safety of your member or customer's data, right? Mm-hmm. So, as we're using AI, as other financial institutions are using it, there's AI available out on the internet, for example. Well, we have to just harness the technology, but keep it within our firewalls, right? Because we need to keep that information safe and secure, which we work very hard and diligently at. But within our firewalls, yes, then we can accomplish so much. For example, fraud detection. We can use it within our firewalls with our members, so we can look for patterns of activity that is unusual or irregular, and we can use that as a trigger. With the thousands of transactions we see in a day, it can be hard for the human eye to see those irregularities. But with running a program on the back end, we can identify those, and then we can start working those issues. But I'd say definitely one of the big challenges or considerations that an organization has to take is keeping everybody's information safe and secure. You may have some more to add to that, Robert.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just as we talked about earlier with AI being used for the good and the bad, we're also able to use it for fraud detection, like Justin mentioned, in other areas where security is a big concern. The AI tools that are available, they range everything from, your chat GPTs of the world to generate text for you, all the way to very niche specific built tools that can help you as an organization be more secure when doing assessments on your own infrastructure. And we are able to harness that, and we're able to do that with much less resources as far as our people go. We can have one or two people use multiple tools where, previously we would need a team to do it. So the security aspect really goes both ways, whether it's member facing or it's on the back end where we're having the security come in to help, actually safeguard the accounts of those members.
It's all fascinating. Is there a I'm going off script here. So is there a sweet spot from a customer standpoint? There's a sweet spot for me of, wow, the AI is doing this and helping me speed up the process, and I don't have to wait on hold to talk to a person or do something like that. But then I also want to be able to walk into my branch and talk to one of you if I have a question or concern. So there's probably a sweet spot where it's just right, and the member gets the benefit, but you're not going away with that in-person experience. I imagine from a financial institution, there's also that sweet spot where it's just the right amount without getting rid of all of the things that make someplace like yours special. Is that accurate?
Yeah, in my opinion, I agree. I personally feel that sweet spot is you want to use the AI where you're doing a lot of the behind the scenes work. So
Okay.
when a member is coming in and kind of like what Justin was saying, as far as decisions that are getting made much quicker than they would have normally, that is where you want to leverage AI because you're saving time, but you are still being face to face with the member where you want to have the personal touch and feel. So, in my opinion, AI is great at making the decisions for us and using it behind the scenes to create the in person experience that we really want to deliver so that we can have both sides of it at the same time.
You agree, Justin?
Absolutely. I mean, so my philosophy on this is if I can have a tool that helps our team be more efficient at what they're doing, that gives everyone on our team more face time with the members that they serve.
Right.
Or in any business, the customers that they serve, right? And that's what it boils down to. People, especially in our industry, it seems when people want to talk to people, that's what they want. And if we can produce efficiencies on the back end using some of these technologies, it gives us more face time when people need it most. And when do they need it? It's when they're struggling maybe to balance their budget, when they're buying or refinancing their home, when they're making a large purchase, when they're trying to make a retirement plan and decide how are they going to stretch their dollar or how are they going to make their dollars work as hard as they can for them. That is when we need to be there for the members of our community and spend that face time with them. And this interesting thing called AI is helping us do that a little better each day. And it has so many use cases. We've looked at a lot of them. We've deployed a few of them, and mostly on the back end where our members don't really see it, feel it at all, but it's creating really great experiences in the long run. So we're pretty interested or happy to dip our toes in it here and there and see what makes sense, and if we find something that just doesn't make sense and there isn't a benefit ultimately to the community that we serve, then you ditch it and you move on to the next thing.
It's fascinating. I hadn't thought about the entire this. There's a cloud that sometimes hangs over AI, but we need to be careful around AI with our money. But the reality is, used by the right people in the right ways, AI actually protects our money, right? Like that it's bad. Whoever's branding or marketing or spreading rumors about AI needs to tell both sides of the story, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just think about any alert you get on your cell phone. If something is wrong with your bank account, your credit card, in most cases, that's a generated response to something irregular that happened. And it's being used to help protect each and every one of us. So it's pretty great to know when those things happen in the moment, or at least at very least, within the same day as when they occur, as opposed to 7 to 10 days later, getting a letter in the mail that something went wrong. Right.
Right. Or finding out that the money's gone or your credit card doesn't work. This is all evolving very rapidly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's one of those technologies that it seems almost as if every year, every month, every week, there is something new to do with it. Or a lot of what we are seeing is a lot of vendors, they're really jumping on the AI hype train and they want to implement AI however they can in whatever area of service they deliver. And that's one of those where you've got to be very careful because then you're talking about a third party and you don't always have transparency in terms of what they are using with AI. So it can be a little scary, but because it's the new shiny thing and the new buzzword from the last few years, a lot of people are really wanting to jump on and use it. I have to say, out of everything, between those that know nothing about it and the ones that are subject matter experts, I think one piece of advice is just be aware. I think if you see a picture or a video, or you get a text, or you see something that presents itself as something you're not expecting, second guess it. Maybe spend an extra moment just to look at it again and see if there's something that doesn't seem right about it. I think just that simple awareness will go a long way in terms of individuals that are possibly attempting to be defrauded in terms of the bad actors that are using AI.
Yeah. Do account holders at financial institutions, do they have a choice about using AI services?
Boy, that one probably can be answered yes, no, or maybe. It's
great.
going to depend. It's going to depend on the organization you're working with. Again, some of these things are just being utilized behind the scenes,
right?
And so you don't even know they're happening. I think the best example is you get online or you get on the phone, and if you ever feel stuck in the telephone round robin of pressing 1, then 5, then 6, and you still don't know how to get it to a person, and that's really what you want. That's an example of not having much of a choice, right? Or having that chat bot that it's answered some basic questions, but it's not taking you to the next step, or it's not asking you, for your insurance example, to maybe gather that information so that either the device can make some headway right then and there, or all the data is available for when someone's in the office first thing in the morning. It's really how organizations are using it. And I will say, I think the most successful organizations are using it in a method where it's very clear and easy how to step away from the AI engagement and get to someone else. That's, in my opinion, that is extremely important. If organizations are going to use that, make it simple to get out of it and get in queue or get connected to a human being if that's what the customer desires. But I think we can all think of examples where we haven't been able to get out of that queue, that automated queue. But I'm a very big proponent that anybody that says, hey, how are you using AI and what do you think about it, is give your customer a way out.
Yeah, the last thing we want to do is paint them in a corner with an AI chatbot with no person to actually talk to.
Yeah, but the AI chatbot becomes a lot more appealing when you get your wait is anticipated to be 12 and a half minutes to talk to a person. And then suddenly everyone's pulling out their other device being like, well, let's see if we can get this answer. And if you haven't done that in a while, maybe try it, because you might be surprised at how much you can actually accomplish, and and specific stuff about not just general knowledge. Like you punch in your account number, whatever it is you're on, they've come a long way.
Oh, absolutely. The advancements for the general population are just the same for individual institutions, because we can take an AI model similar to a chat GPT, but we can have it just within our institution, and it can learn everything we need it to about our members, like you said, their account numbers or our routing number or their behavior. And we can have it be just within our walls, so we are the only ones that have access to it. And then if you're talking to a chatbot, it is similar to talking to one of our actual employees. So you're right, we could have some availability when it's after hours or on a weekend, so that it's not someone that has to wait maybe until a Monday to get an answer. So there's a lot of benefit to having that as well. It's just a matter of being able to deploy it securely and also in a way that members are wanting to use it.
Right. So there's a benefit for everyone involved. There's a benefit for your employees, who can then focus on the things that we need humans to focus on. There's a benefit to the customers so that they can get the information they need. Everybody can walk away winners. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I've learned a lot, and I'm not as scared of AI as I was just 23 minutes ago. So well done. And if anybody has questions, just go on in to the branch and ask questions. Right?
Absolutely.
Please do.
Hey, Justin, Robert, thank you so much for your time tonight. Happy holidays, and I guess we'll see you in the new year.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mark.
All right,
Thanks,
thank
Mark.
you.